This is the Living Well Talk Radio Network's Your Life and Purpose Revealed radio show with founders and your hosts, best-selling and award-winning authors Suzanne Streisauer and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. This is their flagship show with a psychic twist that features award-winning authors with star power, physicians, metaphysicians with cutting-edge healing information, and TV personalities with a positive message for the future. There will be live, on-air psychic readings and dream interpretations to guide you to the path of your life purpose and into a world of better health, wealth, and relationships. The Living Well Talk Radio Network, inspired for life. Now here are the hosts of your show, Suzanne Streisauer and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas.
Laura, you get better at that every time. Hey, Kat.
Hey, Suzanne.
So, you know, it's interesting because I'm looking at the weather, and I looked at the weather map, and they said that you guys got dumped like 13 inches of rain or something over on the East Coast, and I'm wondering how come we can't have a giant straw over this way. But you'd be glad to know we did have like a few sprinkles the last few days. We've had some light rain here in California. And it's been enough to keep the wildfires from happening due to lightning, so I feel grateful.
Oh, that is wonderful. So when it rains like that, does grass start growing in your animals' pens and then they can just nibble on it in there?
I wish it was so easy. No, because it's later in the year, so what they do is they've eaten most of everything, so now I have to take care of them. So, but the good news is that I have no fire damage on my own, no fire danger on my own property because there's nothing. They've eaten everything up high. And, so even if there was a spark, at least around here, I'm good. So that's exciting. And in contrast, you've had buckets of water and, part of the ceiling coming in and everything else, so it's not been so good back there.
No, we've had quite a, it's either feast or famine. We either have these beautiful, sunny, hot, steamy days, or it's raining. And so when I was playing tennis on Monday today, it was like playing tennis down in Florida. It was so hot and humid. I couldn't believe that I was actually in New England. And because of that, it's creating these gigantic cumulus clouds that are then being slammed by the clouds and the weather that's blowing in from Chicago, because whatever Chicago has, we get it a few days later. So these clouds are colliding and just dumping buckets of rain on us. And we have these thunderstorms like as if we were down in Florida. And that's because of the humidity and the amount of humidity that we've got. So, yeah, it's been raining quite a bit today. And the temperature, I can't believe the way the temperature dropped. It was almost 78 earlier today, and it dropped down to 62 by the time I was coming home around 4 o'clock.
That's amazing. It's interesting because as we're moving through these various astrological aspects, and just it's almost like into a new time, I've actually started, working out, and which is something I would never think I would have ever in my life have done, but, doing yoga and actually swimming. So in this last while, I've actually been going down to my lake that's right down at the bottom of the road and swimming.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been really interesting. So I think about you on the Cape and on the water, and then I go down to my, what is generally the largest reservoir in the state of California. It feels like a mud puddle to me now, but we still have plenty of water. I haven't made it from shore to shore yet, but I'm working on it.
Wow, that's amazing. So is the water warm? Because I know you're way up there in that mountain area.
It is warm, and that's a remarkable thing. I mean, some parts of that lake are, several hundred feet deep. So, and then you can feel like when Los Angeles is sucking our water out from underneath us, you can literally feel it, you'll feel the currents under the water. And so it's remarkable. And so, like the top, say, 15 feet are, I'm going to say 80 degrees. So it's just like this wonderful temperature. Wow. And then at night you go and you just float on your back, you watch the clouds and the sky and see, and it's totally peaceful. I was there last night, not a soul. So just me and my girlfriend, we just go, she lives down the road, we just go, we have a lake to ourselves. It's the most remarkable thing.
That sounds wonderful. And speaking of having lakes and stuff to yourself, we've been having these incredible moon tides up here, Suzanne. And what happens is the tide is either extremely high or it's extremely low. So after the last big rainstorm and windstorm that we had here, the tide was so low, it was further out than I've seen it in years. So Peter and I went down to the beach, and we got over 100 oysters. So we're going to be making oysters Rockefeller and roasting them on the grill this weekend. They were just everywhere because some of them had been growing for years. They've been growing for years, and nobody had seen them because the tide was never low enough to get to them.
Wow. Geez, it's too bad you can't ship some of those out to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. So I want to read a little something for our listeners since this is our spiritual show today, and this comes from Dr. Michael Lennox, who's an astrologer and psychologist that both Kat and I know, and an amazing guy, michaellennox.com, and I'll put him on the Living Well Talk Radio Facebook page. So if you're interested in what you've heard, you can go and check this out because I think some of this is really important. So this is his daily astro alert. This is actually for today. So he says the moon moves into Aries early this morning. We have a very big shift of mood as the difference between Pisces and Aries is night and day. The fire of Aries may have us bursting forth today with an energy we haven't seen in a while, especially since the moon will trine both Venus and Jupiter as the most major of today's lunar aspects. Both of these are feel-good sort of transits, and the day will have a sense of bigness to it that yesterday and most certainly did not have. There are also a number of other planetary transits of note today, and we also experienced that as a kind of energetic lift after yesterday's inward posturing. So that's from Michael Lennox at michaellennox.com. And, I think it's always interesting, Kat, what he has to say, because I feel like, he's got his pulse on something that most of us don't regularly see.
Oh, absolutely, and he's right. And, yesterday did not feel good, and Monday felt pretty horrible. We lost Robin Williams, and the Internet is still reeling from that. I'm, reading it in blogs and messages that are coming into me. The planets have been in this strange alignment, and when you've got a disease like depression, sometimes that can really, really be triggered by what's happening with the planets, with the universe, with all the universes.
Well, and the thing that's interesting is that this was, the last few days, was the largest supermoon of the year. And so at some level, that watery piece, that emotional piece of Pisces, if people were going to go, there was the strongest of pulls. And I actually have heard of some other people that transitioned out during this full moon. So, our hearts and souls go out with Robin Williams, and, there's an old saying there, but the grace of God go I. And, I couldn't help thinking, Kat, last couple of days since he passed, of what it would have looked like, because he certainly tried all the conventional approaches, it appears. If he had metaphysical or spiritual healers, or like Sherry Hobson went into his past lives, or master soul groups, or, whatever to help him out so he didn't have to go the route he went to get relief. So, there's been a lot of thought that I've had about all that with him.
I agree. Depression is such a debilitating disease, and the medications that they're using for it are helpful, but they don't always work, and some people find that the medicines actually create more problems. So I don't know. It's hard to know the real answer, but maybe, if our dreams actually diagnose our life, because our waking life is a microcosm of our sleeping life, and our sleeping life actually looks at our waking life under a microscope, then, it kind of begs the question, could he have been helped through, like you said, dream therapy or other multifaceted integrative healing technologies other than just pills, especially if you've got problems with alcohol or addiction to medications? How is another pill going to help you?
Yeah, well, and that's one of the dicey, tricky parts about dual diagnosis people is that they do have multiple symptoms, and I bet you our guest is going to actually have some interesting things as we say about all this, that they do have dual diagnosis, and when they have dual diagnosis, the chicken or the egg, which is first, which is deeper, which is the one that caused the other, and then how do you resolve it? And I don't know that you do at the level that it was created, which is why what Sherry Hobson was talking about last week was so fascinating, and potentially what our guest for tonight is going to be talking about as well, because the holistic part of this can bring all sorts of other interesting things into the picture.
Yes. So shall I introduce our guest?
I think
Bring
so.
her on and ask all these questions? Okay.
I think so.
All right. Well, our guest tonight is a Dr. Idel Brand, and she is a holistic dentist. She's also multifaceted, integrative healer, and teacher of diverse complementary healing modalities. She's the author of numerous health-related articles, her blog, Enlightened Healing, and 2 published books on natural healing. She's also the founder of Enlightened Dentistry, a new paradigm of integrative holistic dental care that encompasses healing of the body, mind, and spirit. She can be reached through her website at thebrandwellnesscenter.com, and I will put that into chat. So welcome, Dr. Idel Brand, tonight. We're so glad you're here with us on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And, I was listening to everything you guys were saying, and I agree wholeheartedly. The metaphysical and energy aspects of healing are way overlooked in the conventional fields of medicine and dentistry, for that matter, because I definitely have people come in with dental karma, if you will, and we use all kinds of techniques to remove that, whether it's a phobia or just an inconsolable fear of dentistry. And usually it's some traumatic event in this life or another life that has to be released, and we do work on that with either hypnotherapy or EFT, NLP, or metaphysical means as well.
That's fantastic. So as you go, Dr. Brand, and you work with people, were you sort of a mainstream dentist and then transitioned into holistic dentistry? How did that transition happen for you?
Yeah, I've been a dentist for over 30 years, and for most of those years, I'd say the first 20 or so, I definitely was a regular normal dentist doing everything that normal dentists do. But what happened was I myself got ill, and conventional medicine could not help me. And it was a long journey back from an unhealable disease. What I had was Lyme disease, and if anyone out there is familiar with Lyme disease, it sort of mimics multiple sclerosis in that you get a tremendous amount of neurological problems and muscular problems and brain fog, and the list is endless. And they really couldn't seem to heal me well. After about 8 years, I finally did get past the Lyme disease. And then what happened was I was left with a whole bunch of other problems, still the brain fog, and then the neuropathy persisted. I no longer had the Lyme because my disease did not progress once I got off the medicine, which was always the problem prior. Every time they take me off the drug, the symptoms would reactivate themselves. But the way I got well, actually, was through energy healing and through detoxification, which are 2 subjects that most conventional doctors and dentists, of course, do not even come near. They only talk about exercise, and they talk about taking nutrition, but nobody talks about detoxing and energy healing or energy medicine. And that's where my strong points are in dentistry, because I don't think there are many dentists out there doing that, like we are anyway.
That's amazing, Kat. What a great concept. I would love to have that. It's like going to a naturopath or an alternative healer for your treatment and your whatever, kind of what ails you. So I think that's just fascinating.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And Lyme disease is so prevalent up here in New England. We run into parents all the time whose children have it because they went to camp. So, yeah, it really is. So, Dr. Brand, just for our listeners, tell us what holistic dentistry is. How is it different from conventional?
Okay, well, it's sort of like conventional dentistry, but better, because we do everything regular dentists do, but we do it with the knowledge that the mouth is a reflection of what's going on in the rest of your body. So the mouth is truly the window to the body, just like your eyes are the window to your soul. And when we look at your mouth, we can see, nutritional deficiencies. We can see illnesses, and we do things like reading your tongue to see if you have congestion in certain organs. So we integrate a lot of different modalities into keeping your mouth very healthy using non-toxic and biocompatible filling materials and crown materials. and certainly not using any plastics, which are emitting, terrible xenoestrogens that are creating more this imbalance in your body. So it's sort of understanding that you have to have a healthy mouth to have a healthy body.
I love that idea, Suzanne, where your mouth is the window to your body, just like your eyes are the window to your soul. I mean, as soon as she said that, it just resonated with me.
Absolutely, and it reminds me of the Chinese and the Oriental medicine and the different where they can actually do the physiognomy with the body. And I love that you're doing that, Dr. Brand. I'm jealous you're in New York, and if I'd love someone like that in California. Is there a like a directory for holistic dentists like there is for, naturopaths or other, people who are more sort of alternative in how they practice?
Yes, there is. I mean, there are several different groups out there. The group that I like the best, that seems to be more honorable in terms of the people they bring on, is something called the IAOMT, which is the International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology. You can look them up. They're IAOMT.org, and they have a directory there broken down by state of holistic dentists, or at least dentists that practice holistically. I mean, you still need to call each dentist to see how holistic they are and, make decisions for yourself. They also have dentists listed from out of the country as well if you're not in the United States. And you can find, a good group, good choices there. And plus you'll get a lot of information from that website. There are lots of videos and educational papers to read there that might really illuminate a lot of things that you've never really thought about before.
Wow, that's fascinating, Kat. I'd love to explore that further, as we move more into the new paradigm and the great shift and just wanting to be more vibrationally aligned, not having like heavy metals in our mouths and everything else. I feel fortunate because I don't have any cavities, so I don't have metal, I don't have anything in my mouth. So, but, certainly I've heard people where they've had, different metals and then different polymers and different this and that in their mouth. And so it's nice to see that there's people who do things consciously.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dr. Brand, how does your training differ from conventional training as far as being a holistic dentist?
Well, every holistic dentist has different kinds of training. It depends on what they're interested in and what seems to get them going in whatever direction they want to get going. I mean, me personally, I have advanced degrees. I have a fellowship at the Institute for Natural Dentistry. I'm also a certified nutritional consultant, a certified hypnotist. I do a lot of energy medicine in the office, working with tuning forks and all kind of crystals, if you will. And I also teach Reiki. I'm a Reiki master teacher. So, the energy part for me is a big deal because I think that's the biggest factor, I think, in terms of chronic illness and getting things to shift. So, it really depends on the person and the dentist and what they want to learn. But I think for me also the big thing is just learning different types of detoxification, mostly through nutrition, but there are other ways to detox your body other than nutrition, or certainly through homeopathy. There are lots of things out there with that. You can use essential oils. There are many ways to do it. And that's in the books that I've written speak about that. Depending on what you're interested in. My little book, which is called My Secrets to Regaining Health, talks about the physical aspects of detoxing and healing. And the other book, which I've written with my daughter, who is a indigo child, she's a Claire everything person, it's called Enlightened Indigo Child. And we talk about the physical aspects of healing as well as the energetic aspects of being well and balanced and grounded and healthy.
So basically, you have been trained as a conventional doctor or dentist, and then you added holistic dentistry on top of that.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think you can practice dentistry without a conventional degree first.
Well, just wanted to double check for our listeners that I assumed that, but I just wanted to make sure. So that's amazing. So you've got all the training that a regular dentist has, and then some. So that's what really makes the difference. It's not just one modality of thinking. it's a number of different modalities of taking in order to treat the whole system. And that's what makes the big difference. At least I think, Suzanne. What do you think?
I agree, and I love that, and like you were talking about in the introduction, Dr. Brand, about the difference between, okay, so if it's a past life thing or a nutrition thing, or, they can use hypnotherapy, or do you give them supplements or homeopathic remedies? I love that. I mean, I can't imagine, I think that's such a great thing, having crystals and the room charge and the space charge with the Reiki. What a great thing. I mean, what a great way to practice. I bet at the end of the day you feel really good, too.
Yeah, I do, because, I know I'm doing what people need in their best interest. And I have to say, people really seek me out. And, if they go to my website, they see that I practice that kind of dentistry. So, a lot of my patients are sort of at their last straw. They don't know what to do because conventional medicine has sort of given up on them. And they're looking for choices or alternatives, and they can't go to their dentist because the dentist thinks they're crazy if they want to take out their metal crowns or their mercury fillings, and they're not. These things are setting up all kind of electrical pathways in our body. These things are putting out heavy metals in our body. The worst case scenario, I just had a patient last week, she had a gold crown over a mercury filling. And that's a terrible way to be, because between the two metals, you are sending up such an electrical thing going through your whole body. One metal on top of another, it's a galvanic reaction going on. It's almost like you got a little mini radio in your mouth. It sounds it's silly, but it makes a tremendous difference once you start moving out all those different kinds of metals from your mouth. And plus, with the saliva, that's just the conductor. The saliva in your mouth is just conducting all this electricity through you. And it's low grade. It's sort of like, being exposed to EMFs all the time with Wi-Fi and cell phones and microwaves, and we don't even feel it. And it's there, but slowly it's doing things to us. And then you wonder why after 20 years you think you're healthy, but one day you wake up, you're just not right, and they can't figure out what it is, but all your electrical pathways have been messed up from all this low chronic exposure to EMFs from everything around us.
That sounds way too serious.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I had one woman who couldn't even use a cell phone because every time she put in there her head was going to explode. She was in such terrible pain.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, because we are going so electronic now. Oh, my goodness. So basically, then, what you're saying is what's going on in your mouth, your dental, your gums, all of that health has a direct effect on our overall health. So you just gave an example of how one woman who had these fillings in her teeth was setting off her cell phone, or her cell phone was setting her off. What other examples can you give us of the importance of our mouth, our dental, our gums, all of that?
Well, you got to, first off, you got to start with good, healthy gums. If your gums are swollen or inflamed or bleeding, even in conventional dentistry, they say all that is a reflection of perhaps a coronary disease, and you're more prone to a stroke or a heart attack. Even simple things like your saliva pH, which can check for the acidity or alkalinity of your saliva. If you're very acidic in your saliva, you're more prone to cavities and inflammation in your body. That's like simple stuff. And just having the mercury fillings, those silver mercury fillings, which are, mercury is a heavy metal. Once you start removing them, and I've seen this time and again, once people start removing those mercury fillings and replacing them with something more biocompatible, within a period of a very short time, their health starts to improve dramatically, to the point where I remember one lady she had multiple sclerosis, and she had it for almost 30 years, and she was on medication, and she said, I'm just taking these mercury fillings out. I don't care what the doctor says. He says it's nothing, but I'm doing it anyway. And we took them out over a period of about 6 months, and she did some detoxification at home. She didn't go for anything fancy, to a special doctor for chelation or anything like that. And when she went back to her neurologist a short time thereafter, because all her symptoms had gone away, they could no longer find the brain lesion on the CAT scan. It had disappeared after it had been there for 30 years. And, so we're all thinking, great, she's cured. But, a neurologist who is a conventional thinking doctor tells her that this doesn't mean you don't have MS anymore. he's trying to convince her that she still has a disease, even though the lesion is gone and she's no longer symptomatic. So, if doctors believe, a certain way, and unfortunately many patients tend to bow down to the doctors and believe them as, being always right, that's not going to help you to get well if they're believing that you're going to be sick forever, even when you no longer have symptoms and your lesion is gone. And that was sort of similar to what happened to me. They sort of said I would never be cured with my Lyme disease and all these symptoms I had. And as you see, I am cured. I'm probably healthier now than I was before I got sick.
That's amazing, Suzanne, because I think that something that Dr. Brand just stated, the doctor said, well, you'll never be cured. And I know that a lot of times with cancer patients, the doctors say, well, you'll be in remission, but you'll never be cured. And I think that mindset really can affect certain patients. So the fact that Dr. Brand is saying, no, I'm cured. I'm over this. I'm done with this. And she encourages her patients to be cured as well is really important in life, because our bodies naturally return to a state of perfection. And if we don't hold that body back with negative mind thoughts, I think that it really can be cured. And we have a listener, Lori, who is talking about magnetic bracelets for arthritis and pain relief. She actually wears one. So we know that there's got to be something with metal and with magnets, right, Dr. Brand?
Yes, absolutely. Metals can have effect on your body, and whatever she's doing, if it's making her feel better and it's not hurting her, then by all means keep doing it. My standing premise is that there's no disease caused by a deficiency of any drug, and if you come from that viewpoint, drugs aren't going to cure anything. You just got to figure out what's out of balance in your body and get it back into balance.
That's so funny, Suzanne. That what a great what a great comment. That is so true.
It is indeed. So in your book or articles about enlightened healing, Dr. Brand, what are some of the hallmarks? If you were going to give us 5 tips that our listeners should know about health and well-being, or going to a dentist, or some way that they should be conscious after having listened to this interview today, what would you tell them?
Well, I mean, if you're going to go to a dentist, you have to go to a dentist who sort of gets this on this scale that I'm speaking about. I think, you have to go to a dentist who's going to listen to you. I mean, I myself had gone to some holistic dentists in the area because I wanted my mercury fillings replaced. And they wouldn't do it. One of them says he wouldn't do it because I had to have my wisdom teeth taken out first. And I'm like, why are we taking out my wisdom teeth? And he said, because you don't need them. But I said, they're perfectly fine. What's wrong? Why are we taking them out? I said, because and he wouldn't take out my mercury fillings before I had that done. I said, well, this is not for me, So even in the holistic community, there are lots of differing opinions. So you have to be aware of that. You have to ask questions and educate yourself, because the dentists sort of know whatever they've been taught, and they may not have been taught the way that you want it to be done. But I'd say in general, in terms of healing yourself, I mean, certain things that you need to do every day is to detox every day. And if you detox every day, you're going to see a major shift in your health. It's sort of like when you take a multivitamin every day, you don't think twice about it. Well, you should do something every day that's going to help your body push out the poisons as well. So if you do something like even a green juice, with chlorella and that kind of stuff, because the green juicing is so important because the chlorophyll carries so much oxygen to all the cells. It's sort of like hemoglobin, and that's the way it works. And you don't have to worry if you have a bad digestive system because it's all in liquid form. There's nothing to digest. It just goes right in, and things are absorbed so quickly. I mean, other things you can do on a daily basis, and we talk about them in both books, simple things like oil pulling, where you can pull the toxins out through the soft tissues of the mouth, because all the teeth and the tongue is all connected to other body parts through a meridian system. So by pulling the oil, and the oil we prefer is always coconut oil, organic, and because the coconut oil has a double effect in the sense that it not just pulls out toxins, it also helps remineralize your teeth. If anybody's trying to reverse cavities, which can be done with a very specific diet. but the oil pulling will help do that as well. I mean,
I love that.
Yeah, there's an endless list. I mean, we talk about a great deal of them in the book, and also at my website I have blogs that talk about simple things that we all should be aware of in terms of not just dental health, but in terms of just general whole body health.
Well, I love that, Kat. You know, it's nice when there's people who are conscious and kind of take into account lots more territory and, you know, really help to make a difference in people's lives. And I know, and I'm really curious about this, Dr. Brand, because recently, I'm going to say within the last 3-4 weeks since I started working out, I've been taking a lot of trace minerals, and I feel like it almost is going into my bone marrow. And so I'm just wondering how all that stuff kind of works.
Yeah, the minerals are really important, and I think they're definitely underrated by most medical people. Everyone walking around is pretty mineral deficient, and the reason for that is because the crops that we're eating, you know, the plants, the fruits, and the vegetables, are being grown on soil that's been redone a million times. So by the time, you know, we're getting the plants, even if it's organic, the soil is pretty depleted. And plus, we're in a very stressful, you know, most of us have stressful lives. When we're more stressed out, we need to take more minerals in. The simplest way to get a lot of minerals, if somebody's looking for an inexpensive way to do it, you don't have to go out and buy minerals. You can just take something like Celtic sea salt, the gray one, not the white one. You want to get the real Celtic salt, and just dissolve like 1/4 of a teaspoon in water and drink that with about 2 glasses of water first thing in the morning, and you're going to feel very different. Even if you take it at night, you're going to sleep so much better, because all those minerals, there are 84 minerals in the Celtic sea salt, and we're not talking, it's not like sodium chloride, like table salt. It's got everything in it, magnesium, potassium, I mean, you name it, the list is so long, and that's a really good way to get all the minerals into your diet without having to go out and buy a supplement, just taking the Celtic salt in water, and you have to take it with a lot of water, so this way you're flushing out the kidneys as well, and you're also detoxing your body, because when you flush out the kidneys, all the poisons that have been accumulating, you know, that have gone through the kidneys will be flushed out when you go to the bathroom to urinate.
You know, that's fascinating, Kat. That is fascinating. I'll tell you why. You remember you went with me, we met Anna when we were together for the Dream Conference, and Anna has that gray sea salt, and I had some of that. She didn't tell me what kind it was, and I just had some. I tell you what, when I left there, I'm like, what in the world was that salt? And so Dr. Brand is confirming that it's in that salt. So I'll definitely get that. So thank you for that, Dr. Brand.
Sure.
Yeah, I actually cook with that gray sea salt, and anytime I have a cut that feels like it might be getting irritated, I will soak my hand in that gray sea salt, and it will draw out whatever is in that cut. And the next day, it's like I don't even have it. It's like you almost like heal overnight. That stuff is amazing. I love it. So those of you just listening in now, our guest with us tonight is Dr. Idel Brand, who is a holistic dentist, and she's talking about the multifaceted integrative healing and modalities that she uses in her dentistry, which is known as enlightened dentistry. So Dr. Brand, this coconut oil that you were talking about to pull out the toxics, for our listeners, do they drink the coconut oil? Do they hold it in their mouth? How would they actually do that? If one of our listeners was going, I'm going to do that tonight, what would you tell them to do?
Okay, well, it's oil pulling, so you don't want to eat that. I mean, you can eat coconut oil. It's extremely good for you, especially if you're trying to reverse some neurological problems. It's been really shown to be very effective with Alzheimer's and any sort of brain issue or even other neurological problems. But but the other way we're using it is called oil pulling. And what you do is you take a tablespoon of the oil and you put it in your mouth and you squish it through your teeth, your gums, everything in your mouth for about 15 minutes. And when you're done, after 15 minutes, the oil should look milky white. It's not going to look like oil anymore. And then you just spit it out, usually in the garbage can or the toilet. You don't want to spit that down the sink because eventually you will stuff up the drain. And then after that, just rinse your mouth out. And that's the way it works. It's very simple. It just pulls the toxins out, slowly over time. You can do it once a day. You can do it 3 times a day. You'll find that your teeth will get whiter looking. Your gums will get healthier. Because coconut oil, it's antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. So if anybody's got a candida issue, which is really a fungus, it will help get rid of that as well. and that's why it's such a good oil to eat. You don't want to eat the oil that you've just pulled. That you want to, spit out. If you swallow it, it won't hurt you too much, but you don't want to because it's full of bacteria. But
you just take everything that you pulled out of your teeth and you just ate it again.
Yeah, don't do it.
Exactly.
You can swallow a little.
Jesus.
It's fine. It's fine. But you can certainly eat coconut oil every day, and that has wonderful healing properties in terms of regenerating nerves, in terms of your skin. Your skin gets better. It's really a very therapeutic oil. It's got something in it called caprylic acid, which will kill off the candida. It's got something else in it called lauric acid, which will help heal almost everything. That's lauric acid actually is what they give to preemie born babies to help them thrive, and it's found pretty much, I think, only in coconut oil or mother's milk. I think it might be in there as well, breast milk.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to the health food store now, Kat, right now. Forget the radio show. I want to go to the health food store. I want some Celtic sea salt and some coconut oil.
All right. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk about crystals, Dr. Brand. So you use crystals in your practice as well. How do you use crystals?
Well, we use crystals mostly for grounding. We give people we give them like a pink quartz, or we give them obsidian, which is a very grounding stone, to hold while we're doing the work on them. Sometimes we'll use some other crystals. They're man-made crystals. They're called biogenesis crystals. We can use that also for healing. But I think the main ones we use pretty much are the ones I just mentioned. Mostly for grounding. That's it. I mean, in the energy aspect, that's for regular dentistry. But in terms of energy healing, we may use some other crystals as well. But that's a whole different topic. Really.
Mm-mm. That's fascinating, Kat. Very fascinating to see how holistic dentistry is actually moving into truly the 21st century and beyond. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're moving it. I keep saying Back to the Future. All the things that the doctors and the medical industry was doing back during the time of ancient Greece and the ancient Egyptians, we're starting to catch up to again now, and we're thinking that we're actually seeing it for the first time when it's actually been around all along, and we just chose to step over it because we thought it wasn't advanced enough. But I love seeing it actually coming back. So, Dr. Adele Brand, tell me what all this controversy is about fluoride. I know it was in water for a while, and then people were starting to see children growing up with gray teeth and problems in their teeth, and having actual problems with their health. Tell us what you saw happening with that from a dentist's point of view.
Well, the thing that I see mostly from the dental point of view, the fluoride, is the dental fluorosis, which is the graying of teeth. And unfortunately, once the teeth come in that way, there's really not much you can do for the teeth other than, do a crown or a veneer to sort of cover it up. I mean, you can't really whiten that out, at least not significantly enough. So that's primary, but the thing to be aware with fluoride is it is in a lot of water supplies. It's in our water supply here in New York City. I mean, I use filters on my water, so I don't have to get that anymore. But it's not even just that. It's in all the foods made from the water. So if you go out and you buy a drink of something and it's made from water that came from somebody's tap in a state that was fluoridated, you're drinking a fluoridated, reconcentrated juice, if you will. So, and it's in the foods as well, because if they're making cakes and breads and they're adding water to it, it's in that as also. So you have to be aware of that. The thing also with the fluoride long term, and they're going to see more of it now, is it causes something in adults called osteofluorosis, which is similar looking to osteoporosis. It almost looks the same, and it takes a really smart medical doctor to see the difference between that when they're examining their patients. So if your bones are getting brittle, it may not be osteoporosis, it just maybe you have too much fluoride in your bones. And, of course, the other thing that's, especially in the metaphysical realm, is it calcifies the pineal gland. And I'm sure many of your listeners might be aware of that already. So if you're calcifying your pineal gland, which is, your third eye, you're going to affect your ability for clairvoyance, and it also will affect your ability to secrete melatonin, because the melatonin, it comes from the pineal gland, and if your melatonin is messed up, you're not going to be sleeping well at all. So that's something to be aware of. And I think another factor which is finally coming to light about the fluoride is it's being picked up by the iodine receptors in the body, and they're all over. Most people know the iodine receptors are in the thyroid. So as most of us are aware, the thyroid disease is rampant, whether it's hypothyroid, hyper, Graves' syndrome, Hashimoto's, and even thyroid cancers seem to be on the rise. And a lot of that may have to do with these iodine receptors that are now picking up fluoride, because fluoride and iodine have the same chemical configuration in their outer electron shell. And this may be too much chemistry, but to the cells of the thyroid, they look the same. So it'll pick up whatever it can get because it doesn't see the iodine. And, the other issue with that as well, the other iodine receptors are also in the breast, the ovaries, and the prostate. And as we all know, all those cancers are on the rise as well. So fluoride may be a contributing factor to that, and everyone needs to be aware of that, and they should educate themselves, especially if they're dealing with anything like cystic breast disease or, ovarian cancer or even prostate cancer, that there may be an issue going on with the fluoride affecting the amount of iodine that you're taking in. Most of us are iodine deficient anyway, so we need to be taking more of that. But certainly the fluoride can really mess it up even more because it looks the same to the receptor cells. Too much information.
The thing that's fascinating about the way you're talking about all this, and this is our spiritual show tonight, Dr. Brand, but I think the thing that I love about the way you're talking about all this is that you are a very grounded woo-woo person. So there's nothing that's not in the science here.
No,
so
as
you're
science.
Talking about this, it's grounded in science, and then you've added another dimension. It's not like you stepped out some other place. And so, this is great information for people. So I'm thrilled that you've been willing to come and share all this with us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
So for those of you who are just checking in, because I can see our guests are starting to roll in for their readings, you can call in to 646-652-2336. Again, 646-652-2336 if you want a reading. Get yourself in the queue. We're going to be starting that shortly. So I'm just fascinated by this, Kat. I just think this is, something everybody should know about and be empowered by and be healthy behind, instead of, having to go through debilitating illnesses. You cured yourself of cancer, and part of that was with very natural things as well. And so I think anytime people can have alternatives that are healthy to start out with, what a great way to go.
Oh, absolutely. And so, Dr. Brand, what are digital X-rays, and how can we protect ourselves from the radiation from dental X-rays? Now that we're talking about all these thyroid cancers that are showing up, and people who are having different X-rays all over their body. Mm-hmm.
Well, the digital X-rays in terms of dentistry are, what they are basically are X-rays that are done through a computer system. So there's usually a 90% reduction in radiation. And if your dentist doesn't have a digital X-ray system, then if it was me, I would strongly advise going to another dentist to find somebody who does. Because you can see things better and bigger on the computerized X-rays, and plus there's the radiation, which is so much lower. That being said, you want to make sure that your dentist is also making sure that they're putting a lead vest on you with a thyroid collar, because a lot of lead vests don't have the thyroid collar. The thyroid collar is sort of like an extension on the lead vest that goes around the neck, so you don't get exposure there. And for yourself, I don't know if the dentist would offer to you, but in our office we offer our patients a homeopathic remedy for X-rays, as well as an antioxidant, vitamin C, just to sort of offset whatever free radicals might be formed from the X-rays. Not that there's really that much, but it's okay. We can use a little more extra protection.
So what do? You offer them a glass of orange juice or something?
No. Yeah, really. No, we offer them a vitamin C, Esta C of 500 milligrams, and then we give them the homeopathic. Yeah, SSC, because the SSC is more, it's digested better. People don't have problems. Some of the vitamin C's, people get reflux, or it doesn't digest properly, and it doesn't really get effectively absorbed through the intestine. So that's the one we use. And the homeopathic remedy for x-rays is one we use as well.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about the digital x-ray. You mean instead of having you sit behind that little window and they actually put the x-ray machine up to your mouth, they're just using a computer? Or
well,
how does that work?
It's done the same way, except the difference is the exposure from the x-ray machine is about a 90% reduction. So it's done the same way, but it's much faster, much lighter, and much quicker.
Okay. So it would look the same if one of our listeners went into their dentist's office and said, well, I want a computer system x-ray. It would look exactly the same, but the amount of time that you would actually be radiated might be 1 second versus 90 seconds.
Right. I mean, nobody does 90 seconds, but okay. Yeah,
right.
But also you would see the pictures come right up on the computer screen. If your dentist is not computerized, then chances are pretty good they don't even have that system. You'd have to ask to make sure that they have the digital x-rays. The computerized digital x-rays is what you would specifically say. And, the other beauty of the whole system is that there's no more dark room with all the toxic chemicals in the tanks. So we're also saving the environment a bit by not putting this stuff out there down the drains, all these chemicals that we used to dip and dunk the x-rays into to develop them. Now it's all done on the computer, so it's good for Mother Earth, too. There you go.
That's amazing. Yeah, Suzanne, so I know that when I go to get my teeth checked next time, I'm going to ask my dentist if he actually does the digital x-ray, and that's what I'm going to request. And if he says he doesn't, I'm going to actually tell him, you should check into it.
Yes.
Because this is so much better for the patient and for you. Mm-hmm. So, why wouldn't you do that?
Now, is there a difference in cost for these, Dr. Brand? Like, this is sounds like state-of-the-art, and certainly my person who does my eye exam, it's all digital. Is there something where you have it costs more, or like thermography, they don't want to cover it? Is there any kind of things about that with these digital dental x-rays?
The fee for the digital x-rays is pretty similar to whatever you would pay for regular x-rays. It really shouldn't be much more. So, insurance is dental. If you have a dental insurance, it certainly would cover the digital x-rays. They treat it like it's a regular x-ray. It's not anything different, It's just like if you had a white filling put in your tooth as opposed to a mercury filling, most insurances will cover it. And if they don't cover for a white filling, they'll just lower the price and make it as if it were a silver mercury filling and pay you for that difference. But they do cover for that. They should.
That's fantastic. I love that, Kat. That's that reminds me of thermography. So I think it's great that that we're learning technology and everything like that for people as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it's great that we have X-ray technology. I think we just have to be careful with it. We have to make sure that what we're doing to look for disease or to help ourselves is not something that's going to damage us more than it's going to help us. And that comes with a balance of time, and I believe that we are improving these things. So, Dr. Idell Brand, tell us about your books and how we can find them.
Okay. I have 2 books. The first book is My Secrets to Regaining Health. It's a small handbook. It's available on Amazon, and it talks about the simple things you can do in the comfort of your own home to detox and rebuild your health. And the other book, which is Enlightened Indigo Child, it talks about the physical, emotional, and energetic aspects for healing, especially for those with high sensitivities to environmental toxins, other people, and even, believe it, high sensitivities to other dimensions and realms. Because, my daughter being a Claire everything person has certainly had her fill of it. And we've written about those experiences in the book and how she's dealt with it in terms of removing energies that may be coming in from other realms that may be annoying you or affecting you health-wise. So,
so what do you mean? What do you mean by Claire everything for our listeners who are listening? They may not be familiar with.
Oh, well, Yeah, she's a clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient. She can talk to other realms. She sees them. She can talk to your higher self. She can talk to body parts. She can talk to pets. She can talk to dead people, angels. She can go into the Akashic records and see that. It's really, what she does. She's very talented the way she does it. I love the way she does it. She sort of developed this herself, where she uses her hands almost like an antenna. So she doesn't lose herself in these other realms. She can just deal with it and get the information and still be here in the 3D. And that's been a focal point for her, and for me as her mother raising her, to keep her very grounded on the 3D, because I find that a lot of these highly sensitive kids and people get lost in other dimensions once they're able to go into, see those other dimensions and communicate with them. And, it's okay, but you still got to function here on the earthly plane. So by doing it her way, it's very effective. I mean, she's also, quite talented on this plane too. She has a master's degree in acupuncture, and she is studying for her boards now. So, she's sort of mastered what's good in this world and what's good in the other realms as well. And I know she has a lot more to learn, and she knows that too. But it is a journey, and the things that we have learned together, we've written in that book, Enlightened Indigo Child. It's good for anybody with high sensitivities to everything, especially for the people who have those abilities where they can communicate with the other realms and find themselves, getting lost there or losing touch with the 3D. And, doing even simple things like earthing yourself every day will be a tremendous plus. Just connecting to Mother Earth every day will keep you here and not lost up there.
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should move into readings, Kat, where we've kept Dr. Brand with us a little longer because we couldn't let her go. There was just too much interesting stuff she had to tell us. So I think she wanted a reading for us, and since both of us came in kind of like your daughter did, Dr. Brand, where we were both, Kat and I, both telepathic and clair everything, I think, when we both came in. So it'll be fun to do this reading for you. For the sake of the show, Your Life and Purpose Revealed, what we do is Kat uses a picture tarot card based on your birth date, and I use an oracle that I channeled called the Runes of the Four Realms. And so we're going to do, she'll do the tarot card for you first and kind of give you some orientation in time and space, and then I'll do a rune reading for you, and that's where we'll kind of start out with everybody today.
Oh, great.
So fascinating.
Yeah, it really is, and the readings, it's amazing how the readings from Suzanne and I bounce off of each other. It always amazes us. So what I need from you, though, to get started is your birth date. I just need the day and the month.
October 15th.
Okay. All right. So while I'm looking that up, and for those of you just tuning in, we've had Dr. Idel Brand with us, and she's a holistic dentist and multifaceted integrative healer. She's been talking about her techniques for dentistry and healing of the whole body. So if you would like to know more about Dr. Idel Brand, you can go to thebrandwellnesscenter.com, or if you would, Dr. Brand, if you would share with people your contact information while I look up your birth date information.
Okay, sure. So it's thebrandwellnesscenter.com. Also, if you're interested in the books, they're available at Amazon. We do have a really nice Facebook page for Enlightened Indigo Child. If anybody wants to join it, you can find the Facebook page through the enlighteneddindigochild.com website. And the contact information for me, as you know, is thebrandwellnesscenter.com, and we're in New York City, and our phone number, if you need to call us to make an appointment or need some other advice, our number there is 212-947-0073.
Great. Okay, so Dr. Brand, I've got you here. Mm-hmm. Your birth date, October 15th, is the 7 of clubs. And the 7 of clubs in regular playing cards is the 7 of wands in the tarot cards. And you're a great card. I love your card. You're known as the Valor card. And what this card shows, if you look at it, you've got a young man, and he's standing up, and he's defending himself against all odds. Mm-hmm. He's holding his ground no matter what's going on. He's very positive, and he's creative, and he uses his creative realms of being to create possibilities that would not normally be available to him. Mm-hmm. In other words, he uses his brain to manifest in the earth plane. Mm. And the obstacles that are placed in his path are there to enhance his ability to use his talents wisely. Mm-hmm. And so this is a card that shows victory by standing your ground. Mm-hmm. And so as a wand, Dr. Brand, that means that you are into energy and growth in this earth plane. It means that I also call the wands I call them the dreamers of the tarot cards, because they're the biggest manifestors, which is keeping with your cards. Mm-hmm. They are the biggest manifestors. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways they do that is they think of everything in terms of the Gestalt. They're abstract thinkers. And so when you are faced with a decision to make or a challenge to solve, you take that thought and you put the whole thing up there in your mind. And then people think that you're just kind of kicking back and relaxing, but you've actually gone into that realm in your thinking where you're putting all the pieces of the challenge together so that you come up with the solution. Mm-hmm. And then what you do is you start to pull it down into the earth plane, and you put it together like pieces of a puzzle rather than being really systematic. What fits now, what fits later, what fit before, and before you know it, you've got the whole thing completed and done, and people are looking at you going, how did you do that? How did you do that when you didn't
I get that a lot.
1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, I get that a lot. Everything you said, I get everything what you said. All the time.
Great. Well, you know, that's you. You are the 7 of Wands. So let's see what Suzanne has for you.
So one of the things that I always tell people as I start these readings and as we get going is to just see where how it is I actually pick the runes for you. And so it was really interesting, Dr. Brand, because when I was picking your runes, it's almost like you go looking for things. You have this sort of sense about things and how they should be, and so there's a part where you actually it's like you go wandering in the other realms to go find things and bring them in. And so I think that's fascinating. So that being said, the way that your runes showed up was they can be symbol side up or symbol side down. And so your rune of self was a lighting butterfly, and that's an air rune in the realm of the divas. And for those of you listening, these are not the traditional Viking runes, so you're going to hear names that you haven't heard before, but you can see them on the Facebook page, Living Well Talk Radio Network. You can see them because I did put them up there, so you can just click on that link. So it's insightfulrunes.com if you want to watch all this take place. So a lighting butterfly is an air rune in the realm of the divas. And so what that means is that it's like going from place to place to get the nectar you need to have the journey that you have so that you know that you're going to go towards a metamorphosis, towards the evolution. Now, the interesting thing about this for you is that this rune is symbol side down, which actually makes sense because, you spent the last almost hour talking to us about how you've grounded the spiritual realm in this dimension. So it's like more of a super conscious place for you now rather than a subconscious place for you. And so what I would say with this rune is that it's of the divas. So to ask the divas how they want you to grow or even still yet expand some more with what you're doing. So that there's what I'm seeing with this is that there's more for you to go with this. Like you have a totally solid foundation, but there's another level of expansion. And what it feels like, the sense I'm getting, is like you're going to start adding, you're going to make it much more of a holistic wellness center where it's not just dentistry, but your daughter practicing the acupuncture and then somebody else may be doing holistic birthing and, all sorts of different things that you're gonna actually have a big, like a magnet center where people can come, a model center where people can come and see this in a much bigger capacity, a much bigger way.
That'd be great.
And then your rune of the present is, again, symbol side down, and it's spiral inward. It's a co-creative rune in the realm of human awareness. And so what this rune is about is, what are the outside forces? What are the things that are impacting you that you're conscious of? Now, again, this rune is symbol side down, and so what this means for me is that you've actually addressed those things. And so now, normally when I would tell people is, okay, you need to get conscious about this, but in your case, it's really different, because what it means is, just like I said with that first rune, where it's an expanded potentiality for you, what now that you know what the limitations are of the world that you work in, like it's how is it that you're going to take what are the limitations of the current model and expand them back out. So you're actually going to be taking some interesting steps with all this. And then you wind up going back to, for the future, your future rune is Vessel, and it's also of the realm of the Divas. So you're about growing things. This is about expansion for you. It's a water rune, and this one's symbol side up. So the outcome of all this for you is going to be like a cup running over, and with passion, nurturing, making things grow. So it may be that you're actually going to take some even bigger steps with this, and that once you get this put together, you'll actually have some kind of franchise model. Now, what's interesting is that with this, the vessel is too much water, meaning overflowing, can't control the flow, can't control the amount of giving, the water going out. And then there's stagnant water where it's just static, staying still. And so as you go through this process and this expansion and this, opening out, you're going to want to go and make sure that you have a good balance. And water is about your emotions. So what you're going to do is what feels good and what feels right, using the vision that you have to just let this thing kind of continue onwards.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you both.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure and very uplifting for me as well. I've learned a lot, too.
Well, great. So I think we're going to do our top of the hour information, and thank Dr. Brand for her time. And then when we come back, we'll go and we'll get to readings for our people who are in line and in chat, and we'll get going with all that. So thanks again for joining us tonight, Dr. Brand.
All right, thank you both. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
We hope you're enjoying Living Well Talk Radio Network's Your Life and Purpose Revealed with host Suzanne Streisauer at yournextstepcoach.com and Kathleen O'Keefe-Canavas at accessyourinnerguide.com. Downloads of this broadcast are available immediately after the show on the Living Well Talk Radio website, livingwelltalkradio.com. Suzanne's book, 111 Inspirational Life Purpose Quotes and Exercises to Find Your Purpose in Life, a workbook to be your best self and live your best life. And Kat's book, Surviving Cancerland, Intuitive Aspects of Healing, are available on Amazon.com and on their websites. Go to Suzanne's website for her online Life Purpose course, her coaching program, and the runes she is using in the readings this evening. Do you dream? Kat's Dream Course 101 will help you use your dreams for better health, wealth, and relationships. Go to their websites, and in the right-hand column, you will find the download for your free gift. Suzanne's free gift, 7 Steps to Living a More Purposeful Life, and Kat's free gift, 7 Steps to Access, Awaken, and Activate Your Inner Guide. Now back to the show.
Well, thanks again, Lori, for that. And thanks for joining us, everybody. And we have some space, so if you guys want to get a reading, definitely call in to 646-652-2336. And, this has been a really interesting night tonight. So for those of you who didn't join us in the first hour because you didn't think it was spiritual, you have a lot to learn about this. And wasn't that a great hour, Kat? I learned so much from her about holistic dentistry, and it was very spiritual.
Oh, it was so amazing and extremely spiritual. And here she has a spiritual daughter as well, an indigo child. So, it's very interesting. I'm sure that her book is going to help a lot of other parents who may not be spiritual, may not be really tuned into their spiritual or their psychic side, but they're raising a spiritual or a psychic child. I mean, how confusing can that be for a parent? You look at your child and you say, no, don't do that. And the child looks back at you and says, but Grandma says it's okay. And Grandma's been dead for 10 years. What do? You go and get Dr. Adele's book.
Yeah, it was great. So, all right, Kat, I'm ready to start doing readings. How about you? So we're going to start with our first person, Maria Janina. I love that name. What a beautiful ring into that name. Maria, welcome to the show tonight.
Hi. How are you guys?
We're doing great, Maria. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Okay, good. Well, I see that your birthday is 5/1.
Yes.
So that's May 1st. You're a May Day baby.
Yes, it is.
So that makes you the 5 of spades and playing cards, which is the 5 of swords in the tarot card. So that means that you're going to be the top 5 of swords this whole lifetime. That card's never going to change for you. As a sword, you are part of the conflict suit. And what that means is all of the conflicts that you have faced throughout your lifetime are a result of unfinished business in previous lifetimes. They're untied loose ends. And so in this lifetime now, you're tying up a lot of those loose ends, and you're halfway through all that already. So your life is actually going to be less challenging as you go forward. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, what I've been going through lately, yes. I hope so.
Okay. Well, you're known as the defeat card. And what that means is it doesn't mean that you've been defeating. It means that you have been defeated. It means that you are defeating your challenges. If you look at your card, there's a young man, and he's got 3 swords that he has dropped. 2 are actually lying on the ground. There are 2 people walking away from him. He's got one that he's getting ready to drop, and he only has 2 swords left in his hand. And what that means is he's already completed or tied up a lot of the loose ends from his past because he's looking into the past.
Okay.
So is any of that resonating with you? Have you kind of tied up the loose ends of some things that were, going on in your life?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
You still have a couple left. But you're defeating them. You're coming through this well. If you look at his face, he has a smile on his face. He's not sad. He's not unhappy. He's just realizing that, 3 down, 2 to go. And that would make anybody smile. So remember, at this point on, you need to kind of pick up the pieces of your life and continue on so that you can finish the success.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. So, Suzanne?
So you have some interesting runes, Maria. Your first rune, your rune of self, is a lighting butterfly, and I'm not sure if you heard what I was saying to Dr. Brand, but that is a really lovely rune, and it's symbol side up. And so one of the things that's really interesting is, Kat just told you about what you're kind of going through in your sort of life's journey. And the thing that's really interesting about a lighting butterfly is it's an air rune in the realm of the divas. And so in your case, and so what the butterfly does is it flits from place to place looking for nectar, looking for what it needs to go and to get its needs met so that it has enough strength and everything that it needs to kind of go forth into its metamorphosis, right?
Exactly.
And so as an air rune, what it means is the higher mind, the dream time, all those things. And so the other thing is that you would be considered clairsentient, where you feel stuff. So if you feel stuff, you're kind of repelled by it. And so, as Kat was talking about the things that were going on, one of the things you can do is you can use this rune of self, the image of a butterfly, and it feels like you already do, where you actually, things that don't feel good, you back away from. Not nurturing, okay, never mind, don't need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can use this rune as a rune to create from, because what you're going for is your own metamorphosis, your own transformation, your own nurturing. So even if people have judgments about you being flitting around, you don't need to care about that. You just need to go and do your own journey and whatever is natural for you. You just want to go and honor your own path, and that'll take you through this transformation that you want to make. And so just kind of hold true to that. Don't let people tell you you're flighty, and if they do, you can just say, not my problem. That's your perception. Doesn't matter to me. Then in the present, it's a little bit more sort of, I want to say, kind of confusing to you, because you're looking around and going, well, what do I do? How do I do this? And the reason for that is because you've got the blank rune. And the blank rune is a wonderful rune. It's the rune of creation. So you literally get to create it however you want to. And so this is using that air again from a lighting butterfly, the higher mind, and working with the divas of how you want to create it. You can literally create your own path. You can figure out exactly how you want to walk this path. And to ask the divas for the strength to kind of help you do that in whatever way it is you want to do, so that can kind of move through and happen, which will be a great thing for you. Then your rune of the future is blasting forth, and this one's symbol side down. And blasting forth is a co-creative rune in the realm of great spirit and the elementals. And what's interesting about this rune is there is going to come a time, as you've gotten this underway, now as you get stronger, as you have the vision, the direction, you know where you're going, you know how you want to get there, the next thing that's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of energy that builds inside of you. And so think about a volcano. There's that magma, our chi, the life force energy. And so that's going to need an outlet. Now, if you don't give it an outlet, what do volcanoes do? They erupt, right? So what I always tell people is you want to go and let your volcano, your magma, your life force energy have a creative outlet and channel to go, so it doesn't have to figure out another way to blow.
Okay.
So part of this process for you is going to be to figure out what that creative channel is, to let that energy loose and to let it flow, so that it can release and create, and create a whole new island for yourself if you want, like Hawaii. Just however that energy is that it wants to go to create something new, because that's what the hallmark is going to be for you, is to be creating something new. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it guides me to a certain way that I'm thinking right now. How should I be looking for here in 5 years? What I'm planning on doing. So it's good.
Perfect. Okay, that's fantastic. And clearly you're using that energy in the way that it's meant to be used. So that's fantastic. So, keep up the good work. And for all of our listeners, if you feel like, oh, my God, they said that too quick. It went too quick. And you want to go listen to this more, you can actually go back to our archives. And every Wednesday show is archived. And you can listen to the archives of the show where we did readings for you and listen to that. And also while you're there, like that page for us, too, the Living Well Talk Radio Facebook page.
I will. Thank you very much.
Maria, thank you, and thanks for coming and joining us. That was fun, Kat. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It seems like a whole other journey from one week to the next. I forget where we are from one time to the next. So
it's never the same 2 weeks in a row, ever.
It's never. And so our next caller is Alcina, and she's calling into us from Arizona. So welcome to the show, Alcina.
Yes, hello.
Hi, you're live.
Hi.
Kat, where
Alcina.
are you?
I'm sorry, I was in chat. I'm back. Alcina, so you were born December the 8th, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that is going to make you the 10 of clubs in the playing cards, which equals the 10 of wands in the tarot cards. You are always going to be the 10 of wands in this lifetime. Now, are you familiar with the wands at all?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, the wands deal with energy and growth. And just like our guest that we had tonight, you are part of the big dreaming manifestors. You spend a lot of your time daydreaming. Does that kind of fit you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're doing when you're daydreaming is you're actually creating or solving a problem. You're either creating something new or you're solving a problem. So when people think that you're just kicking back, not doing anything, you are in the fourth and the fifth dimension. And just like before a chair is created, the creator of the chair saw all the different parts of a chair. And then in their mind, they put all those parts together. And then they brought that idea into the earth plane, and they created a chair down here very quickly. They just stuck all the parts together, and boom, you had a chair. And you do the same thing in your life. You see the problem in the gestalt. You start almost working backward to solve it. And then you pull it down into the earth plane, and you put it together like pieces of a puzzle. And your friends often wonder how you do that. They don't understand how you do it because you're not doing it in a linear stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, because you're not a linear thinker. You're an abstract thinker. Does that kind of make sense to you?
Yes.
Good. So the color that will give you the most strength when you're feeling weak is yellow. And when you feel like you need direction or you feel like you just don't quite have your grounding, face south and do a breathing exercise of just taking in 3 deep breaths and blowing 3 deep breaths out. And you're going to feel much more grounded. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Suzanne?
So your runes were kind of interesting.
Oh, do I ask a question or?
No, you don't need to. What I do is I go and as you're doing your reading with Kat, I'm tuning into you, and so I pick runes, and so what'll happen is after we get done, you can see if it answers your questions or not, or okay. I'll address it to that. So let me just tell you what's here for you. So your rune of self is vessel, and you've heard me talk about vessel tonight, and this is you're the second person with vessel tonight, and vessel is a rune of water, so lots of water, lots of emotions for you. It's in the realm of the divas, so it's about growing things, and this is with the symbol side down, and the vessel, vase, whatever you want to say, is standing straight up. So what this tells me is that you have a lot of emotional energy that needs to have a pathway. It needs to have a way to express, a way to flow, and a way that as it flows, that it can help things grow. So you really want to sort of spend some time now talking with the divas and opening up that water channel, the emotions with the divas, so that you can figure out, like, okay, I need to put a cup of water into this plant, or I need to put a lot more here. So you know how to regulate your energy, how to flow with your circumstances so that things can grow in your space, so that you can open up and things can expand for you. And then your rune of the present is lightning. And so lightning is a co-creative rune of the realm of Great Spirit, and it's kind of like blasting forth. And so, except it's different, because with lightning, what it is it's all the kinetic energy that we see in the sky that builds, and all of a sudden the sky gets dark and the energy gets crackling, and then all of a sudden we start to see that energy discharge out of the sky. And so this is about you feeling energy building inside of yourself, and then it needing to have an outlet. And so you can generate, a cloud or a bunch of energy around you, and then all of a sudden that will create a lightning strike. Or you can say, you know what, I'm going to figure out how I want to creatively build that energy so that then I can direct it in some way. And you're going to want to use the divas to do this, so that the divas will help you, because Great Spirit and the elementals, they're just about having the energy flow and happen. And so, but what I tell people as a function of the oracle is what you want to do is you want to be paying attention to how the energy works and what happens with it so that you can channel it properly and not just have lightning randomly striking around you and, so you have to duck for cover. And your rune of the future is moving through. And moving through is a great rune. It's a rune of transition, again, of the divas. So what this tells me is that you're going to be going through some transitions as a result of, getting your water to flow, getting your emotions to flow, and then releasing a lot of, shall we say, pent-up energy or energy that builds. That's going to take you into a time of transition. So if you felt like you've been in some kind of stagnant situation for a while, that's about to change. But it's kind of up to you how you want to get that set up and moving. Does that make sense?
You mean to the question that I had in mind, or?
Just in terms of your life in general. And then we can look at it, I can spend a little time with you.
No, not really.
Okay. Okay, so what was your exact question?
I'm interested in someone right now, and I was wondering where you see that going.
Well, okay. So it's going to go through some sort of trying times, and there's emotional energy that you've got to get into balance. Like you can't hold back. You've got to figure out what that balance is. You can't flood them with too much emotion, and you can't withhold emotion. So you've got to work that out. And that lightning rune in the middle there is about the process of you becoming self-aware, of you seeing how you and that person are together, and then there will be some transitions that take place. But it feels like that you didn't get like the romantic runes, like double heart or teardrop or sun on the horizon or rainbows of light. So this feels like a situation, relationship for you that's there to help you work some things out.
Well, it's not a relationship right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just interested in the person.
Yeah. So I think that it's all about you learning how to work stuff out about yourself relative to relationships, how much to give and receive, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely related to that relationship and that person. So thanks for joining us today.
So you're saying that this relationship or whatever is going to be trying, or like, I mean, of course, every relationship is going to be like that, but okay.
Yeah, I want you just to sit with it. Listen to it a few more times because it's all there for you. You just want to listen to that?
I just think, like, nothing really is connecting there. Like, I don't really know what to do with it, or I can't really apply it. So, okay, but thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're going to move on to Kelly, who's calling in from Texas. So welcome to the show today, Kelly. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having your show.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
So let me double check your birthday. You were born 5/16, is that?
Yes.
Okay. So that makes you the Three of Pentacles in this lifetime. The Three of Diamonds, which is in playing cards, and the Three of Pentacles in the tarot cards. Your card says that you are the architect of your life. So you actually need to build it. So does that kind of make sense to you at all in your life?
Yes. And as far as my birth date, I was born at midnight on the 15th, 16th, and one clock said 5 minutes after, 5 minutes before. So, but being the architect building it, yes, that makes sense.
Okay, great. So did you have any specific question you wanted me to ask you? Will I tell you about your life, this lifetime?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having relationships are a little. My love life is on the back burner because I'm trying to get my career in order. So, but whatever I will happily accept anything you have.
Mm-hmm. So, relationships always seem to be a big question with our callers. I see we had it with our previous one too.
And so, that's not with me.
Oh, it's not with you.
Yeah, I'm more interested in trying to get my career in order.
Okay, your career. Well, I'm not surprised with your card because, first of all, you're a pentacle, and pentacles deal with money and wealth on the earth plane. So as a pentacle, you like nice things. you like nice cars, you like nice clothes and houses. That's just you, and that's fine. That's the mindset of a pentacle. And you're also known as the skill card, which means that you can acquire a skill for something, and then you can actually make it work towards your benefit, because your card in this lifetime represents the development or the proficiency of your abilities as they more or less apply to your daily life, not just your work life, because your work life and your daily life are kind of combined, which is normal with a pentacle. They think in terms of their daily life and their work life and their finances and the earth plane all wrapped up together in a pentacle. So does that kind of make sense to you?
Yes. And by the way, I've been really, really struggling, like poverty struggling. So although I like nice things, I'm just trying to get out of survival mode. I mean, if I'm not about trying to make $1 million. I'm just trying to have a decent life where I don't have to worry about every month, every little penny, and not having enough.
Right. Well, your card represents a development of proficiency. So that tells me that you can develop a job, or you can create a means by which to make the amount of money, not necessarily the millions that you were saying that you couldn't make and it didn't matter. You can make enough money to make ends meet. That's definitely within your realm of being. So what you need to do is focus on a trade. You have a trade card. The Three of Pentacles is a trade card. Okay. So what you really need to do is focus on a trade that you can perform. And that is how you are going to be the architect of your life and actually build it as a pentacle. And that's important. There's some aspect of that, one of those points of the pentacle that have not been developed. And only you can look at them and see which one needs to continue to be worked upon. And Suzanne may be able to give some light into that as well. But you can build your future. You just have to focus on your skill. What is your skill? And then you go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Suzanne?
Hey, Kelly.
Hi, Suzanne.
So, it's so your vibration when you're talking is really sort of clear and pure. And so part of this transition that people are going through right now, where it's really tight financially and things are tough and weird, is because we're supposed to be transitioning out of that as our orientation if we're moving into the next dimension and the next vibration. So what's happening is we're starting to travel light. And so the other part of that, Kat was talking about a craft or a trade, but the other thing is it's at some level it's more or bigger than that, I want to say. And what that means is that it is you understanding who you are, understanding that you're a gift, and then understanding that there is a flow of energy and such that's just going to come through you and provide opportunity. And that the other thing is to look at your life and to say, okay, you've always made it, okay? So we're being tested to see if we have the faith and knowing and truth that we're going to be okay.
Right.
Okay? So, and sometimes it's like, really? But it's just, it's about just being there because there's a new energy that comes in with that. So just to open up to that, and then from that place that's open, then you think about what, like Kat said, about the craft. Okay, now let's talk about your runes. Okay, so your rune of self is crystal charging, and crystal charging is a co-creative rune in the realm of the divas. And so unlike other people who are water and air, you are grounded. You're like a generator crystal giving off energy. And so it's co-creative. So one of the ways I would think about a job for yourself is to say, okay, what is it that I just naturally give off? What is it that I naturally do? What is it that just naturally comes through me? So that you don't have to work so hard with this. You can just let the flow and the natural energy of what you put forth be the thing that kind of moves you along and keeps you going.
Okay.
So it's a rune. So you're like a big crystal. So you just want to stay rooted in that crystal, and then just let the divas put energy in the crystal, and then just give that energy out. So whatever you do, you want it to have that kind of a feel. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Then your rune of the present is symbol side down, and that's sun on the horizon. And that's a fire rune of the realm of human awareness. And this is about passion and vision. And so sun on the horizon, imagine that you're looking like out over the horizon. Either the sun is rising or setting, and you see that big ball of the sun looking at you, in your eyes. But now you want to have it in your third eye, so it becomes vision, and literally it lights up the direction you're supposed to go, and it magnetizes you to pull it forward towards it. Now, as you get this piece with the crystal charging together, and you own that power and that energy, then you can have a vision. Right now you don't have the vision, which is why the rune is symbol side down. You'll have vision because this thing will start to shift and change when you own your power and you own your own circumstances. Can you see how this works?
Yes.
Okay. So then you're going to have vision, and that's going to be about your passion, and that's going to be about direction. And then the really nice thing about this is that out the other side of this, you have a water rune, the future, and it's teardrop. And this rune never comes up when I do these readings. And teardrop is, imagine like a wave is just about to crest, and then over that is one little drop of water that's in the shape of a heart that is there as your emotion, as your awareness, as it goes up onto the ocean and up onto the beach. And so this is about you knowing and feeling the emotion and not being overtaken by it. So there's going to be a huge, I want to say gratitude, a huge transformational wave of energy that's going to go through you as you own the energy of crystal charging. You own what this is about. And then it's going to also be kind of like an existential shift for you. And then you're going to have vision, and then you're going to wind up in this wonderful place of emotion and passion, like, oh, my God, I finally made it to the side. I got washed through, passed through, and then you're going to get to kind of have a relief, and then you get to be on your journey again.
So the teardrop with the wave, one little drop of water, you mentioned a heart.
Yep.
And unsure what that, all of that was beautiful.
Okay.
And I was typing too, so, but go ahead, I'm just trying to.
So what it is it is you experiencing all of the human emotion of looking back on the journey that you've just come through and that you made it.
Okay.
That you made it.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of emotion that goes through as a result of all this, and be okay with that. But right now you need to spend time with the divas and about things that are growing. And you're going through the eye of the needle because that's what's demanded, because all the stuff in the way that it was before is not how it's supposed to be going forward. So the less you think that you're going to go and find something in the ways of old, days of old, is not the way. So don't go down that road. This is about the new energies. So you want to be with the divas, and you want to say, show me how you want things to grow here, who you want me to be.
So beautiful. Thank you both. That was
you
just
are
really,
welcome.
really awesome.
I hope that helps.
Oh,
and you
really,
come back
really
and see us next Wednesday and tell us what's going on. We want to know.
Okay, I would be happy to. Tomorrow's a big day, so
Great.
Thank you. Thank you both. I really
you
appreciate
are
it. All right.
welcome.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right. So that was Kelly, and now we're going to move on to Tony in New York. So, Tony, welcome to the show today. Oops, I just took everybody out of order, but oh well. We've got time, so it's all good. Tony, welcome to the show today. Okay, Tony's not here with us. We're going to go to Danielle.
Okay.
Danielle,
Hi,
welcome
Danielle.
to the show today.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Danielle.
We've got a Danielle. Hi, Danielle. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? It's nice to hear you. I haven't checked in a little while, but I always love it when I get a nudge to go on Blog Talk, and it's to hear the two of you because I love what you do and your combination of energy. So I'm happy to be connecting with you tonight.
Oh, thank you, Danielle. So, do you already know your tarot card?
I do. I have my life card from you guys, which is the 10 of Wands.
Yes, it is. Okay, so the 10 of Clubs is 10 of Wands. So you already know that you're in good company because you are the overextender, which usually means that you are also you're also the overachiever. And that's certainly what Suzanne and I are. So you're in good company with that. So do you have a question for us tonight, Janelle? And what I'll do is I'll just pull a card.
Yeah, I trust you guys for whatever comes through. I don't have a specific question, but I'm always open to any direction or guidance that comes through.
Okay. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it up a little so you can't possibly know what it is you're picking. We're going to be working with your guides here. So I want you to give the very first answer that comes into your mind, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I want you to pick an element, earth, fire, water, or air.
Water.
Okay. And I want you to pick a number between 1 and 14.
12.
Okay. Let's see. 10 and 12. Okay. So you chose, where's that? You chose the Knight of Cups. So let's see what the Knight of Cups has in store for you, because it's called the poetic and the refined enthusiast. So that tells me that you are coming into a time right now where you're focusing more on love, happiness, and all of the arts that go with poetry, writing, and you're very enthusiastic about moving into this part of your life. Does that kind of make sense?
It does. It makes perfect sense.
Okay. So as the Knight of Cups, remember that you are always the messenger. You take great messages into the future to people. So the people that you're going to be meeting in the future are people that you're going to be telling things to that they don't necessarily know, but they're going to be great messages. And you're going to be carrying with you the Holy Grail. That's what the cup is. In the tarot cards, it's the Holy Grail. So you're going to be carrying with you into the future this Holy Grail that, although you're a wand and you're a big daydreamer and you can actually manifest, you're going to be manifesting information for other people in the future that's going to be grounded in spirituality and those things that they are searching for in life. And that's where the Holy Grail comes in. Okay?
I like it.
So does that make any sense to you at all?
It does. It makes a lot of sense to me, actually. And it's interesting because I'm sure, as there are no accidents, this is some information that's been coming to me recently about different things, about exploring more into Akashic records and shamanism and sort of studying these things a bit more myself. So I think what you're saying couples with that quite well in terms of what's been coming at me in my direction about, getting in there and figuring out how I can help people myself to get more of their information and help them on their journey. So that makes perfect sense.
Well, that's great. Well, it sounds like your guides and your guardian angels are saying you're on the right path. You're going forward. You're going in the right direction.
I like
Keep
the right
going.
track. It's always good to be on the right track. We take a lot of side roads, so yeah.
Let's see what Suzanne has to say.
Okay.
Hey, Danielle, welcome back to the show. It's been a while.
Thank you.
So interesting that we would get the runes for you that we did as a result of kind of your question and everything else, and because I picked them before sometimes even Kat starts talking. So your rune of self is the Four Realms rune, and Four Realms rune is the namesake of the Oracle. This is a rune of creation and of being in a place of power and vision and wisdom and action. And So this is you. So one of the things about that rune is that it can have a lot of feeling like obligation, responsibility, heaviness for the magnitude of the kind of vision task that you have at hand to manifest. And so the thing that's really cool about this, though, is that A, you weren't given anything more than you could handle. B, all the elements want to help you. All the realms want to help you. And being co-creative with all the realms, everybody wants to help you make this happen. So,
Yay!
Yeah. And so you just really need to kind of own that, and then you need to ask for the help you want and need. Okay? So just to stand in your power, just to stand in your truth, and to kind of be about that. Now, your rune of the present is the flowering. And this is an earth rune of the realm of the Devas, and it's symbol side down. And so as I tune into the energy, and I said, interesting that this rune would be symbol side down for her right now. And so the message is that even though you are trying to make something happen right now, that the reason that you can't is because the planet is not right. It's not right. It's not yet the time. And so think about the flowering. The flowering is, a seed doesn't germinate until it does. It doesn't come to fruition until it does. And so even though you can see that plant growing, there's no amount of, blowing on it, watering it, nurturing, flowering, and it's not going to do anything until it's ready, right? So so right now, even though it feels like things are dormant or at a standstill, they're actually not. Everything is just happening under the ground, the earth, and it's so that when the time is right, it can spring forth out of the ground. So you're just getting stronger. So don't feel like there's anything wrong with you or what you're doing, because that's absolutely not the truth. Okay, then your rune of the future is lightning. And so lightning is an interesting rune in sort of an ending for this reading of the future. And what this means in the context of this reading, in the context of what Kat just said to you, is that lightning is sudden, unexpected change. And so it feels like what's going to happen is you're actually going to be an amazing change agent for people. Like what's going to happen is they're going to come to you and they're going to have gone through whatever they've gone through, people who you're helping, and you're going to say, okay, are you ready to be done with this now? And then you're going to kind of like be like a psych surgeon or a psychic healer where you actually can go back into the records and help them rework energies at a big and deep level.
I like that.
And now, both the flowering and lightning are symbol side down, so it's not time for you to think about that, but just know that that's kind of how this is going to unfold. Right now, what you know is who you are, and that's what you're supposed to be focusing on.
Okay, I can do that. I can handle that mission. I feel comfortable with that. And
that's
also,
good.
putting that
that's what
stuff
we like
aside.
to hear.
The very first time I talked to you guys, I don't even know, over 2 years ago now, I don't know that I would have been able to put any of that aside or pause on any of that, but I feel very comfortable with that. And, I'm just, like I said, I'm just so grateful for what you guys do. You definitely feel like soul family from the beginning. So it was very exciting when I got on and I said, okay, what do they got me on here looking for? And it was you guys, and that made me happy because I love your energy. And whenever anybody's talking about connecting to people, I always send people your way and a couple other healers. But just I love the vibration that you're in and what you're about, and it's just very authentic and very loving, and I appreciate that, and you're being a part of my journey. And your information tonight. Thank you so much for all of that and all that you do. I'm very grateful that you're on this team with me out here in the world.
We love hearing that, Danielle. That makes us so happy, and that you kind of have some longevity with us, and Kat and I from day one, we made a commitment that we were not going to be those other kind of readers that would do readings that scared people or that just did weird things, and so we're glad when it's appreciated and it's used and it's felt at that heart level, so thank you.
Yes, come back to us next week and with another question.
Okay, I will keep checking in with you ladies and let you know where I'm at and how it's going and see what's happening on your end. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Thanks, Danielle.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, so now hopefully Tony is going to be ready for us and we're going to be ready for him. And then we'll get Tony started. Tony, are you there now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Great. Hi, Tony. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Good. So, Tony, you're calling from New York, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, welcome to the show. And your birthday is June the 6th, right?
June 30th.
Oh, I'm sorry, June 30th. That was the 6th, yeah. So that makes you the Two of Wands, which is the Two of Clubs in the regular playing cards. And your tarot card for this lifetime that's never going to change is the Two of Wands. And remember, for those people listening, the Wands deals with energy and growth. And I always call them the dreamers of the tarot cards because, Tony, you can actually manifest what you want in this lifetime. You're capable of doing that. A wand shows growth. When it looks like that stick is dead, when it looks like whatever it is you're working on isn't happening because it's dead, all of a sudden you can cause it to sprout leaves. You're capable of giving life to things. Do you see that at all in your life?
I am working on that. I'm definitely working on that, I can definitely say I'm working on that.
Okay, well, you have the capability, so I'm so glad to hear that you're working on it. And as the Two of Wands, you are a great card, and this may make some real sense to you. You're also known as the Crossroads card or the Obstacle card. And what that means is in this lifetime, you are constantly coming to crossroads. You come to two paths that one path suddenly becomes a fork in the road. And I always say, pick it up and use it. Figure out how you can use that fork in the road. If you look at your tarot card, it's a man, and he's looking out over the ocean. He's got the whole world in his right hand. That's you, Tony. You've got the world in your right hand. And you've got your wand in your left hand. And at your feet, which makes sense, this is almost like a play on words, like a dream. At your feet is the crossroads in the form of your coat of arms. And that tells me that throughout your lifetime, you're always going to come to crossroads. And that's why it's so important that you connect with your inner guidance. And you can do that through dreams, prayers, and meditation. Do you keep a dream journal next to your bed, Tony?
I do not.
Okay, well, you might want to think about doing that because you are also the dreamer as far as the tarot cards go. And so by connecting with inner guidance, you're going to be able to make the right choices when you come to those crossroads. And you're going to be coming to them throughout your life. That's your card. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I'm actually there with one right now. Yep.
Okay. Well, you start watching your dreams. You start writing them down and looking for that inner guidance, and it will keep you on the right path when you come to those crossroads. And just know that that's a part of your life, and that's never going to change. Okay? So let's see what Suzanne's pulled out for you.
Okay.
Hey, Tony. So you're the first person tonight who's gotten all three runes symbol side up. So that means that your energy is, it's kind of conscious and clear. So I like that when that happens for people. So your first rune is crystal charging. And like many, many people in the readings tonight, yours is first rune of self is of the divas. So it's about growing things. And crystal holding is actually an earth rune of the realm of the angels. So we haven't had any of these tonight, and you're in a lot of ways all down here. So crystal holding is an earth rune of the realm of the angels. And this is you kind of sitting and meditating and contemplating. But the crystal is pointed down towards the earth. So what you want to do is you don't get to be an ostrich, Tony. You don't get to put your head in the sand. Or maybe it's an emu that does that. But anyways, the goal is that you want to go and you got to be willing to go and speak your truth and be accountable for your truth so that you get to be kind of a role model on the planet to kind of show people way shower, how things should go from here. And you have the right to do that. That's your job to do. You came in as a really grounded person and to really open up to that energy so that you can indeed kind of be someone. It's like I feel like you would be a great mentor, like at the Boys and Girls Club, that kind of a thing, where you're that rock-solid person for people, where people know they can count on you. And it's of the angels, so you're very loving and giving and patient and grounded with people, and that's wonderful, and with yourself too. But you want to own that. You don't want to kind of hide that anymore. It's time to sort of step out with that.
Okay.
And then your rune of the present is moving through, and it's a co-creative rune in the realm of the divas. And this is a rune of transition. Now, the transition for you is vertical, and so that means changing the ways that you think. And so, like I just said, like you have to own your truth, own your power, step into that. So this is really for you about really kind of coming to terms with that and asking the divas and getting a higher dimensional perspective, asking for divine guidance and also divine intervention to kind of help you own that, or wherever that like stumbling block is, that hiccup point is, you want them to help you. And it's a time of transition, moving through old thoughts and into new things. And then your future rune is Balanced Star, and this is, again, a rune of the angels, and this is as above, so below, and how do you create that? Now, the thing that's really interesting with Balanced Star, this is a 6-pointed star, so it's completely balanced, is that it's right next door to Crystal Holding. And so this is how is it that you bring in what you see, what you envision into this dimension and hold that. Just like I said at the beginning of this reading, that you're supposed to be kind of like that person. So you're really a point person here, kind of like an emissary from the realm of the angels down here to help people kind of be who they're supposed to be and bring that balance here, bring the divinity back to people. And so the first part of that is you standing up in your own truth and being that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay, cool. Okay, and actually you got one final rune, which was symbol side down, and it's Footprint. And Footprint is an earth rune. It's right under Crystal Holding, and it's of the realm of human awareness. So as you go through this whole journey, what this is helping you get on your own authentic path. But this is symbol side down because you haven't yet owned the energy, but when you do, there's going to be a new path you're going to walk with this. You're going to be really walking your talk and walking your truth. So that's exciting.
Wow.
Kind of cool.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So, Kat, some great readings we did tonight.
Absolutely wonderful readings. We thank all of you for being with us tonight. A special shout out to Chris, Curious Times. Her show starts an hour from now. Any of you who would like to go to another show, definitely check Chris's out. It's fabulous.
Yeah, her show is tonight at 7 p.m. and every 7 p.m. California time. And so she's got a great show. We've been on it many times, Kat and I love her show. It's a weekday show every day of the week, and it's remarkable because she has interesting guests, and she does all kinds of things on that show. So, Kat, go see Chris at Curious Times, also on Blog Talk Radio. She's great, and thanks to our wonderful guests today and amazing people that we've had with us that have joined us as guests, and also people that we've read for tonight, Kat. Tonight, for some reason, seems special. The readings that we did seem special.
Yeah, well, we don't usually just have the two of us doing readings. There's usually three of us, so we were able to spend a little more time with our guests tonight. So, Suzanne, tell us who you've got coming on your show on Monday.
So on Monday, I have a really fun show coming up, and it's someone that we actually had. I have two people. I have the first hour is Dee Dee Mercer Moffat, and she's an amazing. She's got her own radio show. It's called Snap Out of It. She's a character, and she's written a book. And then that's the first hour from 12 to 1, and then from 1 to 2, I have Sherry Hobson, and she's going to kind of do a transmission. And for any of you listening, she was with us, Kat and I, a few shows back on a Tuesday night, and so she's actually going to be with me on Monday. So Sherry Hobson's going to be with me. And then what's happening on Tuesday night, Lori? Let me get you live so you have a mic. Lori, what's happening on Tuesday night?
On Tuesday night, we have Doris Muna and Kelly Sullivan Walden.
Oh, that'll be a great show. And then how about Wednesday?
Wednesday we have readings again. Yeah, we have readings, and so we want everybody to tune in and call in early so you're sure to get your reading with us.
And Wednesday is also... Oh, sorry, Kat, but Wednesday is also Athena Kalinsky.
That's right. Athena's with us. So come join us next Wednesday for another edition of Your Life and Purpose Revealed. And then let's see. That I think takes us through the week until the following week, and then we're going to have some other fun things for you the next week. So have a great week in the meantime. Lori, I'm going to let you do all the stuff you do so well.
Okay. Thanks, Suzanne. You've been listening to Living Well Talk Radio Network founders and hosts, Suzanne Streisauer and Kathleen O'Keefe Cannabis, on their flagship show, Your Life and Purpose Revealed. A special thanks to our network sponsor, NewLifeExpo.net. Visit the Living Well Talk Radio website at livingwelltalkradio.com for upcoming events, products, and services mentioned during the show. Visit Suzanne and Kathleen's personal websites to join them on social media and learn more about them, their products, the services they offer, and upcoming events. Suzanne can be found at yournextstepcoach.com and Kathleen at survivingcancerland.com. Make sure that you join Suzanne on Monday for your life, Living Life on Purpose from 12 to 2 Pacific. That's 3 p.m. Eastern. Both Suzanne and Kathleen are on Tuesdays for the Authors Spotlight Showcase, and the Doctor's In from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. That's 7 Eastern. And next Wednesday on Your Life and Purpose Revealed from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific. For more live on-air psychic readings and dream interpretations for a better life in health, wealth, and relationships. This show and previous shows are archived on the Living Well Talk Radio website. And while you're there, check out the array of shows hosted by other Living Well Talk Radio Network hosts. Living Well Talk Radio, inspired for life.
Thanks, and to let everybody know that starting next week, we're actually going to be doing, or actually the week of the 25th, we're going to be having a new show host coming on in September. And we love her. Kat and I have both been on her show. She's totally positive. We're going to be having Linus Woods Mullins with us, and she's got a great show called Praiseworks. And she does all kinds of really interesting things, very dynamic, and a lovely woman. So we're really proud that she's going to come with us onto the air. And so since tonight is kind of
and Suzanne, she's also got that fabulous magazine that we're both columnists in.
That's right, Wellness Women Over 40. So you'll be able to find that on the Living Well Talk Radio Network Facebook page. Also, like us there and follow us on Blog Talk. That helps us out, helps our numbers out, and makes a difference. So I'm going to leave us tonight with a new piece of music that I haven't played in a long, long time, but it just makes sense based on our readings. It's called Earth Angels. It's by Marco Misinato, and it's an exquisite piece of music. So enjoy your night, enjoy the week, and we'll look forward to seeing you all next week. And this is, again, Earth Angels from Marco Misinato.
From the earth, from the sky, from the heart of all infinity, comes the call and the cry of the source of life, forever free. cloud, open up your wings and fly with me.